A very good afternoon to you and welcome to Lunchtime News. Starting off with headlines, data to compare the report of Port City EIA report not yet received, an accusation from the Ministry of Environment to the Ports Authority. 27 children from the Lanka school in Jaffna suddenly fall ill and hospitalized. 120 kilograms of cannabis prepared to be sent to Sri Lanka seized by the Rameshwaram police. And on international news, Thailand's Supreme Court orders a former Prime Minister to stand trial for negligence over a controversial rice subsidy scheme. Now, stories in detail. The Ministry of Mahavali Development and Environment says that the Sri Lanka Ports Authority is yet to provide data to compile environment impacts assessment report on the Colombo Port City project.
To the Ministry of Mahavali Development and Environment, Nihal Rupasinghe said that representatives from the Chinese company in charge of the Port City contract has inquired in this regard from the ministry. The secretary added that they are briefed on the issues that had arisen in preparing the EIA report on the Colombo Port City project. Issues had arisen over the previous EIA report as locations from where rocks and sand for the construction of the port were not mentioned in it. Nihal Rupasinghe went on to say that if the relevant data is provided, the compilation of the EIA report on the Colombo Port City project could be expedited.
The Columbo Intellectuals organization alleges that the government has not yet made public the reason for suspending the construction of the Colombo Port City. The organization emphasizes that it is disappointing that only contradicting views from various individuals are being made.
A change dawned on this country because of the attractive promise made to create good governance in the country. As bondsmen to this promise, the intellectuals came forth. We made our pledge before the masses. What are they doing now? Is this good governance of any assistance, or is it silence? The main foreign exchange revenue sources are being closed down. Not a single explanation is provided. Has anyone made any clarification as to why the construction of the Colombo Port City project was suspended? The only thing we hear are the contradicting views expressed by the ministers. After the visit of the Indian Prime Minister, they said that the 13th Amendment is not sufficient. They wanted something beyond that. Is this the result of our successful foreign policy? The intellectuals have issues over this.
Western
Provincial Councillor Roshan Paduka made another revelation regarding corrupt practices of the previous government.
We have received documents stating that a sum of 35 million was spent by the Lowland Development Board to construct the Darajaka Memorial in Madamulana. We have the document stating that the 35 million had been approved by the chairman of the board. The Ministry of Defence said that they spoke to the residents who provided their land for the walking path in Borulasgamua. The paddy lands were forcefully reclaimed and not a cent has been paid to the locals as yet. However, at the inauguration ceremony, 27.5 million rupees was provided by the Reclamation and Development Board. We clearly state that the compensation need to be provided to those landowners. The Development Board must conduct an audit on the department and make public the financial fraud, corruption and unnecessary expenditure.
UPFA MP of the Mathale district Rohana Disanayake says that the United National Party shows no interest in making amendments to the electoral system. He made this statement at a meeting held in Mathale.
The only aspect the United National Party speaks about is curtailing the powers of the executive presidency. We see a real interest in making changes to the powers vested with the president. We also understand that they do not seem to make amendments to the electoral system or the powers vested with the parliament. We need to clearly note that while making changes to the powers vested with the president, also make changes for a parliamentary election to be held under the new electoral system. We can see the stance of President Maithripala Sirisena, but not the stance of the government led by the Prime Minister. Although the executive presidency was promised back then, there needs to be more power with it on certain other matters.
The fire that erupted at a shopping complex in Bambalapitiya has been doused. The Colombo Fire Department said that the fire erupted at around 7:45 this morning. The Colombo Fire Department managed to douse the fire that occurred in the 7th floor of the building. Police said that there was a traffic congestion along Gore Road owing to the fire.